Hey guys, Joel Frank here, market analyst for YouTrading, and in today's educational video, we're going to be talking about pennant structures. I was about to say Bitcoin, pennant structures, but we're going to be using an example that basically Bitcoin recently had of a pennant structure breakout, which worked out very nicely from a trading perspective. So, as you can see here, I've got it drawn up on the chart. Between sort of mid-April to a little bit earlier on this month, like 5 days ago, Bitcoin had been consolidating within an ever narrower trading band. Now you can see the highs were getting lower and the lows were getting higher. Now that is a classic pennant structure. It's particularly nice when the lows line up nicely, as they pretty much did in this case. Um, First of all, how do you know when you get a breakout of a pennant structure? Because we actually had a little push above on the 6th of May, but we had an immediate reversal and we closed below it. Difference on the 8th of May, 2 days later, was that we had a push below, quite a convincing push below, and we closed below the uptrend side of the pennant structure. So that, for me, was confirmation of the breakout, the bearish breakout of this pennant structure. Now, pennant structures, when you break out of a pennant structure, the market can push in either direction. Okay, so it's not necessarily a bearish or bullish technical pattern. Like if we only have to go back to when's this, like late March to early April, to see an example of a pennant structure that had a bullish breakout. So um, yeah, but you can see this time it was bearish. Also coincided, we like confluence with technicals. Coincided with a convincing break below the 21 and 50-day moving averages. Now, when we retested, now this tends to be the way I like to trade these sorts of technical setups, is you have the breakout and then you have the retest. Now we retested 2 days later on the 10th, retested the bottom part of the pennant, 21-day moving average and the 50-day moving average, and that found really, really strong resistance. And ever since then, we've just been hitting all the profit targets that you would have. Basically, like, what would be the profit targets that you would set? Well, usually one of the main ones that you look at is sort of the bottom. Like if you got a bearish breakout from a pennant, you target the lowest low of that pennant. But then, just this is specific to Bitcoin. You go back and you look for some other levels of support, turn resistance. Like this is resistance, turn support. We've now gone through both of those now. And there's a long-term level in the 25,000s, which I think we're probably also going to hit. Depends how Bitcoin responds at this 100-day moving average. For now, it's finding decent support there. But Bitcoin certainly, despite the fact that like uh, macro is a tailwind, you got to say at the moment, like you got the Nasdaq, which is pushing higher. You got yields, which, I mean, it's been choppy and they're still within recent ranges, but genuinely still heading lower. You got the Dixie, which is lifted a little bit from recent lows, I suppose, which could be weighing on Bitcoin. But this doesn't seem to be a macro driven move. This seems to be more to do with technicals. Big rally so far this year. A lot of people wanting to take profit. Um, doesn't mean an end of the Bitcoin bull run, by the way. Just a short term technical setback, which is completely normal in this kind of market. And for Bitcoin, just whilst we're talking about it, this is the uptrend I think you really want to be looking at, the one linking those late December to early January and then March lows. And that sort of roughly goes in line with the 200-day moving average. Looks like they're going to continue rising together, actually, so this should be a really strong support level. Um, I don't know if we're even going to be able to test that though, because when we get back to 25,000, that's going to be quite a potentially compelling area for long-term Bitcoin bulls to add to their exposure. Um, because, like I say, the macro backdrop is improving for Bitcoin generally. You got the Fed likely done with interest rate hikes, likely going to be cutting interest rates in the second half of the year amid the banking crisis, which itself is potentially Bitcoin bullish. Got a recession on the way as well that they want to potentially prevent, which should help bring inflation back. So a lot of things working in Bitcoin's favor at the moment, unlike in 2022 when it was all about hawkish Fed and high inflation and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, guys, yeah, I hope this video, the main point of which was to talk about pennants, has helped you understand how to identify these pennants. It's basically a squeeze of the price action where you can link up falling highs and rising lows, and then you can get a breakout to either side. And then the way I like to look at it, like I said in this case, is you wait for the retest, and then that when you get confirmation, that's when you load up on either the long or the short position. But yeah, guys, hope you enjoyed the video, found it informative, and I will see you all in the next one.